So after the earnest money is given,
Yep.
is there a time period between the final closing? Is there, what if someone decides that after their earnest money was given, something happens? Are they able to get that back? Is there any part of that process you might be able to explain a little bit?
Yes, that's a great question. In fact, I get asked that question all the time. If I cancel my contract, can I get my $1,000 back, my $2,000, my $5,000, however many thousand earnest money back? You know, my sister bought a house in Los Angeles long time ago at the crash, probably like 2008-9, right? And it was Los Angeles. Even though we were as a country in an economical real estate crash, Los Angeles was still pretty competitive. The prices just went down, but the competitiveness of buying a home was still there. So I remember her telling me her real estate agent had suggested that they put $60,000 as earnest money. I was like, that's like a down payment. That's not earnest money here, right? In Salt Lake, especially back then. Back then, I was like, wait, 60,000 earnest money or 6,000 or 16? She's like, no, 60. I was like, holy cow. She goes, that's how you guys are going to stand out and be competitive. And they loved the home, great area. It was the school district they wanted their kids in Burbank. And so they basically submitted their highest offer that they could submit, $60,000 earnest money. And, luckily they were the ones that got picked and got the house. So that's a big concern when you're dropping $1,000, $2,000, $10,000, $60,000 as earnest money. The question I get asked all the time is, can I get that back if I change my mind? What if I do a home inspection and realize that the roof is sagging or something's wrong with the home? Do I get that money back? And the answer is hypothetically yes, but there's a certain amount of time. But it really depends. So I say depends because if you write up the contract so that you don't get your earnest money back, then no, you won't. But very few people, very few people, I should say, ever write a contract with no due diligence clause, right? So for example, we talked about due diligence a second ago, which is 7 to 14 days, right? That's the time where you get to do your home inspection, test for radon, check the school districts, make sure there's no sex offenders in the neighborhood, whatever it is that you want to do to make sure that's the house you want. Then that 7 to 14 day period that you wrote in the contract is the actual time frame that you get to now cancel your contract and get your earnest back, on your money back. So if you wrote 7 days because you wanted your offer to be competitive, and then you change your mind on the 8th day, well, it's too late. You waited too long to request for your earnest money back to cancel the contract. So you have to be aware of the time frame that you're using for due diligence. So if you put 7 days, and then you do a bunch of due diligence and realize, holy crap, the roof is completely sagging. It's going to cost us $12,000 to do a brand new roof. We're out. And as long as you do that before that 7th day, assuming that's the date you wrote 7 days in the contract, then yes, you can cancel the contract, get your earnest money back. But if it's, again, if you wrote 10 days in the due diligence, then you get 10 days to cancel your contract and get your earnest money back. And if you wrote 14 days, of course, you get 14 days to do that. But there are some cases where people want their offer to be so strong, and usually it's an investor who's going to do this, that is okay with the property being challenged because they're going to go in and fix it up anyway. Occasionally you'll see investors that will submit an offer with no due diligence period, meaning, hey, here's my earnest money, it's hard today, meaning I don't get a refund. I can change my mind and cancel this contract though in a week, but you still get to keep that no matter what. That's a very attractive offer, of course, but a very risky offer. So it's something that I wouldn't recommend a homeowner to necessarily do, but an investor who's planning on fixing up a bunch of things anyway, it's not as risky. It's still risky, don't get me wrong, but it's just not as risky as the homeowner who wants to move in happily ever after and then not have to fix up a roof at the same time. So yes, really good question. You're going to want to be very conscientious when you sit down with your real estate agent on how many days of due diligence you're asking for, basing how competitive you want your offer to be. You may want to lessen that. Maybe if you want more, then you of course add 14, 15 days. But whatever time it is, you need to be on top of getting everything that you want done to determine if that's the house you want to buy, done in that time frame, because if you change your mind, you got to make sure you do that in that time frame. Okay, before we part ways, in case you have a dog or know someone else who does have a dog, I wanted to take a quick second to show you the snap leash. The snap leash can literally do so many things. and I'm going to share with you one of the many cool things that it can do. As you can see, the snap leash is designed with 2 swivel hooks, one on each end. This end has a cushion stitched into it to make it comfortable when walking your dog. Now, all you have to do is take this swivel hook, put it into this very first grommet, and now you've got your handle. Okay, so now let's imagine you're at the park and you want to secure your pet quickly, safely, and easily to a park bench, a tree, or a pole because you just want to sit down and relax. Well, all you need to do is take this swivel hook, remove it from the very first grommet, wrap this leash around any size tree or pole or park bench, and put it into the appropriate grommet, and now you have secured your pet quickly, safely, and easily. And when it's time to head home, another great feature about the snap leash is you can simply wrap it around your waist for hands-free walking. Lastly, if you ever accidentally forget your waist bags at home, these grommets make a great place to fasten the waist bags so you never leave home without them. And if you want to see all of the other cool things that the snap leash can do, then please just click on the link below and find out why so many others are falling in love with the snap leash.